Yeah. So question number one, could we get a Pibroch singing class? Carl, let's hear something. Let me hear. Give
So,
me
so
some
some
Pibroch singing.
some answers or some Pbrox. Could we get a singing? I mean, Ia
Ooh,
andran hidi andi. There you go.
that's nice.
Singing Pbrox.
You had a nice little vibrato in some of those intervals. It's nice. Yeah. So Colin is saying Cantarock. Yeah. This is an interesting question.
Yeah.
Can we get a Pibroch singing class? And it's interesting on a variety of levels. First of all, any Pibroch class of any kind should probably also be a singing class.
And most
Like,
are.
and most of them do, right? So most of them, in order to get the idea of a Pibroch across, singing is almost universally accepted as like the way you would do that. So that's thought number one. So any Pibroch class, right? Singing is good. Now sometimes you get into the details of the playing and the singing is a little bit less, but the two go hand in hand. So that's thought number one. And then thought number two is sometimes what people mean by this is that they want to learn the Nether Lorn Canntaireachd is what they actually mean. And the Nether Lorn Canntaireachd is, it's basically an early method. I feel like at one time I knew the history of this, but like 1815 or something, and then what was his name? Was it Archibald Campbell or somebody else? No, it was Colin Campbell. It was Colin Campbell showed up at one of these piping gatherings with 400 tunes written down in words. And he basically developed a word system to codify Pibroch. And I think ultimately there were 3 volumes, the third of which has been lost. It's gone. No one knows where it went. So there's probably 100-something tunes out there in Campbell Counterrock form. Just no one can find them. There were originally 3 volumes, and now there's only 2. But it's actually super fascinating and interesting. One of the things that's interesting about the Campbell Cantarock, sometimes known as the Nether Lorn Cantarock, is one of the things that's interesting about it is it shows Pibroch as it was played probably about 50 or more years, a generation or two earlier than all of the stuff that Angus Mackay wrote down later.
Yeah.
So the Nether Lorn Cantarock is really interesting in that sense. But here's the thing that people misunderstand about the Nether Lorn Cantarock. It is not the way the ancient Macrimans sang the tunes. It's not, right? It's a system that he developed, and presumably his family. It's a system that they developed to be able to codify and to write down and to remember tunes. Yeah. Yeah. And Ben says, if you were to read Alistair Campsey's scathing remarks, you might learn a lot more. And it's also quite a bit about it in the William Donaldson stuff as well. Quite a bit about it.
Yeah.
So the Nether Lorn Cantarock is cool and it's interesting. And you can indeed sing the tunes using those syllables and using that code. But it's not any more authentic than other ways of writing down the tunes. Maybe only more authentic in the sense that it is one of the earliest documentations of the tunes in written form. So it is really cool in that sense. But I sometimes feel like the Nether Lorn Cantarock is really cool to study. And by the way, we do still use that system when codifying tunes and when talking about them, right? So if you were to say, sing me the Battle of Aldern in the Nether Lorn Cantarock, you would still use that, and it's still really quite useful way of thinking about tunes sometimes. But I don't know. For me, it's a big gray area there. And
I think for most learners, it's totally unnecessary unless you're going to do a deep dive
yeah,
into the old ways of playing tunes and do a ton of research, which could be cool. Maybe you want to go down that rabbit hole,
yes,
but you don't need that to
it's
sing, and you don't need that to learn P-Rock.
correct. So the Nether Lorn Cantarock, it's super academic. It's super academic.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons we don't go into it that deeply is like the cost benefit ratio of that isn't high enough for
Yeah.
the average student. Like for me, it might be someone who's like studying Pibroch like in super detailed ways, at least at different phases in my life. And then, so meanwhile, if you just sing a tune, like I'm just making up sounds. He Hotro, and maybe there's a little bit of Nether Lorn-ish things that sneak in,
Yeah,
but
because
like,
you've heard it. You've
but you
heard it.
just sing the tune. If you just sing the tune from the heart, which going back to my original point, if you just sing the tune from the heart, which is what you'll do in any P-Brock lesson or any P-Brock session, or if you just sing it from the heart, making up your own sounds as you see fit, like that's really all it is. And when I have P-Brock lessons with any great P-Brock teacher with tons of knowledge, that's all they're doing when they convey the tunes to me. Good question though. But that's why there's not like a course on P-Brock singing, is because it's all made up. We sometimes get this question in terms of light music tunes as well. Because we often do the same with light music,
Yep.
but again, it's all just made up. People are like, how do I sing like that? Start by making it up.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Brett, we did a comical / educational version of that at Winter Storm one year. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
And that was a comical take on it. But my point there is the same as it is now, which is
You
it doesn't
don't need
matter. You
the
can use any
rules. Yeah.
words you want, and singing the tunes is good for memorization, and it's good for getting into the vibe of the tune. Yeah.
So short answer, no, we're not going to do a class that's specifically only on that. But
Mm.
most classes do have it. And
Donald Lindsay and Captain John McClellan have authored really nice resources if you're interested in the academic pursuit of learning the Nether Lorn.
right.
So if you Google Donald Lindsay Bagpiper, you'll find his version on his site. And then if you go to, what's Colin McClellan's website called? But Captain John developed like a little workbook for learning the basics of the Nether Lorn as well. The other thing, if you do your SQA, otherwise known as PDQB exams, like you need to learn your Nether Lorn.
Yeah.
And it's tricky. Like for me, it's just flashcards. Like even for me, it's like I get to the point where the details start to feel really annoying because I can't quite remember exactly, but I know exactly the musical vibe I'd go for. So it begs the question, like,
That's the point.
what's the point? And you could always look it up, right? So if I am using the Nether Lorn Canntaireachd to extract information about a tune, which, by the way, a lot of top players are going to do. You got your P-Brock Society, but you can also find the same tune in the Nether Lorn manuscripts. But if I see something in the Nether Lorn manuscripts that I don't understand, I can just go look it up. So to be a true like major expert in that language, it's like the utility is not actually that high. When Jack Lee does it, we may have done it at the dojo a few times, but also at Piping Hot or on the cruise, he'd have the P-Brocks with the Nether Lorn Canntaireachd written underneath. But when he does it, he might have it memorized because he's Jack Lee, but I'm also thinking like he's probably double checking his work against the documentation to make sure he's got it. You know what I mean? It's like he might not just automatically know how to sing it in the Nether Lorn perfectly without having to do a little research. Like I think that's about the extent of it.
Yep.
Okay, Carol's question, slightly related. 16 votes. Could we learn another P-Brock? We spent a month on one a couple of years ago. Could we do that again? Answer, isn't that what Bruce does every single week?
I think so.
Are you trying to say that
You teach
the
better than
way
Bruce.
no, that's not that you said. Carl said I didn't say that. But are you trying to say that the way I teach P-Brock is really special?
It might just be that Carol wants morning P-Brock class for a little bit.
Classes. Okay, we are starting our new thing, so time might be a little bit difficult. But Carol, your suggestion has been put in the suggestion box. Meanwhile, Bruce's classes. Here's one thing you could do, right? You go in the old archive, eye out for Bruce's classes, and then stick on at least the audio of some of those classes when you're driving around town, and you'll get a nice little P-Brock lesson. So oftentimes Bruce will spend several weeks on a tune. So go back to the first one in any given series and kind of check that out.
You could probably do that on the way to work and get one lesson done a day. Maybe. In any case, we'll work on it, Carol.
Yeah. And then, by the way, there's also other stuff deep in the archives about it. And there's also my whole course that covers 12 of the essential tunes in a really like cool order. The other thing that would be cool is rather than just listening to what Bruce is doing on his classes or what we're doing in the course, like how about whip the music out and play some? Because that's the thing people never do, right? So I want to do the Piobaireachd class because Piobaireachd is so cool. And then they sit there and they listen to the Piobaireachd class. And how many of y'all have put in a little time and chuck those notes up on the old baghorn and give it a shot and see how it goes? Carol? Anyways, I'm just, Brett, I got my eye on you too. Take it easy over there. But yeah, throw up a little Piobaireachd on the old baghorn. Carol's like, I did. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I feel like the next question we've answered already. Didn't we do this last week? Brett was asking if we can. There's a place to request interactive tunes on the Dojo site. I'm 99.99% sure, because I took a note of it, that we answered this last week. But for anyone else out there, just pop it on the community. Anything that you'd like to see, and
Carl,
we'll do our best.
Is it true that you put Thunderstruck in as an interactive thing?
Oh, and Steam Train, Veil of Athel's version's up there too.
Oh, can you show us one
Sure.
of those? Because I'm curious.
Sure, I can. Give me just a moment here. Pull up the link.
Someday we're going to do it even better with stems.
Right, which would be really cool. But yeah, here we go. I just got to share the right screen. Oh, and I probably want some sound here. Okay.
Thunderstruck Angus thing.
Yeah, that's what the title of the
nice.
track.
Okay.
So that's just what I know.
Let's see it.
Maybe. What's going on? Nothing is happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes
it just bugged out there.
Has a moment.
Sorry.
So, Carl, can you slow it down a little bit? It's going too fast.
Or maybe we want some, just figure out what's going on in this bar.
Yeah.
It's loading.
Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't highlight that first one that well.
Yeah. Very cool. Like I mentioned earlier, there's some mistakes in the later parts, but they're all just like repeats of stuff that we've already looked at. But look at all that. There's just so much.
All right. And then can we see the steam train?
Sure. Oh, I hit the wrong button again, but that's fine.
That's pretty awesome, Carl. How long did that take you?
It took a little while because we
didn't
didn't have the right setting in dots, but Steam Train, on the other hand, took about 15 minutes. Here we go. Let me share this again. Share screen and sound. And then just gotta get the things out of the way. All right.
Oh, this isn't the original Steam Train. But that's okay. It's not the original. But that's okay. It's still a good one.
Anyone not know this tune?
Like crossing noise. Loop this whole line, right?
Yeah. Sorry, it's hard to deal with Zoom.
Yeah. But if you just wanted to practice that one line, this is going to loop for us, right?
Yeah, it is. If I just hit the right button. There's bits of this recording that would not pass phase 5 from skip.
I love how, man, I would have killed for this when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's just so cool. Anyway, very cool, folks. Like, we're having fun with this interactive player too, right? When you want some cool stuff up there, ask.
If the devil came up to me and said, hey, I got a deal for you. How about you give me your soul for eternity, and in exchange, you can have this interactive player from the future? I would have been like, sign me up. That's called the Faustian bargain.
Yeah.
It seems so obvious now. That's the problem. It's so obvious that it's cutting the excitement level out. It's like, oh, of course you should be able to do that.
Yeah, but it is really cool.
Lillian, you can adjust the pitch on that. However, it moves the note heads too, which is really annoying. I wonder if there's a setting for not doing that.
Not that we found, but we could ask. I might have to ask that. I'll ask that.
That's definitely worth asking. Okay, next question. This is one of the 12 we were talking about last week. This is one of the 12 questions that you get very often. The question is there a difference between black waxed hemp versus yellow waxed hemp? Carl, ready?
Yes.
We'll say the answer on 3. 3, 2, 1.
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to say yes. I
was thinking about it.
Are there spiritual differences? Yeah, maybe. But isn't the black waxed hemp just yellow hemp that's dyed black?
It's literally black thread that's coated with paraffin wax. Like the yellow is yellow thread coated with paraffin wax.
I feel like there's different gauges of thread you can sometimes get.
But you can't pre-order it. It just seems to be mysteriously sometimes a little thicker, a little thinner.
Yeah.
It's not the world's most highest quality linen thread. There's a lot of variance in the manufacturing of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So really, Rusty, the answer is no. And then here's the other thing I'll say though,
It
is
can be true.
the other thing I will say is as you become older and more experienced and wiser and this, that, and the other thing, it's like you develop the thing that you like. And
Mm.
maybe there are slight differences, or maybe black is better than yellow because it like reflects the sun's rays at a slightly different angle and the infrared spectrometer. And I get it. Who knows? Maybe there is a difference, but for all intents and purposes, it doesn't matter. I am a 4-time world champ, Carl, and I've been runner up, or I've been in the top 3
You've been
so
second
many
place how many
times.
times?
So many times. And I don't think the reason I was second versus first any of these times had anything to do with the hemp, because I just
Right.
do whatever. I grab whatever I can see when it comes time to hemp my pipes. So look, there's some black hemp, so that's what I chuck on.
Now,
I'm not saying I'm the best player ever, but I'm decent, and I've never seen any pro or con to black versus yellow hemp.
I would just note that sometimes you'll come across some information that says use black waxed hemp or wax your hemp with black wax for the first 3 feet or something. That's not the same thing.
That's different.
That is different.
Yes.
We're only talking about the pre-wax stuff. That stuff's identical.
Yeah. And
Um,
then the cobbler's wax is sometimes a really cool and sometimes essential thing.
yeah.
And that sometimes cobbler's wax and black wax is the terms are used interchangeably. But the cobbler's wax is like extra sticky. And by the way, the wrong thing to be using in some cases.
Mm.
But it can
It's
be,
literally just for the contact between the hemp and the wood. And
yeah.
after that, you can't have it.
And then as a base for hemping your joints, cobbler's wax can be really good and help keep the hemp from spinning in the future. But then when you're tying hemp bridles on your cane drone reeds, cobbler's wax is like essential.
Yeah.
Next.
Yes. And next question is not the announcements. Where did it?
Has Ed Best dropped his Tuesday, Thursday rhythm class? I am excited for his Tuesday rhythm class at 5 p.m. my time, so he will just have one rhythm class a week. Carl?
Yeah, it's funny this question is here now. Ed dropped his Tuesday, Thursday rhythm class in June,
June, maybe?
maybe. Yeah, something like that. And not a whole lot of people noticed. So we're putting one back because it is super important and really cool. And to the person who asked this, make sure you're attending and getting the most out of that because it's a really important skill to continue to hone each and every week. It's not something you just master and then you're good at for the rest of life. It's something that you continually work on and continually improve, just like everything else we do. We want to reach the next level of consistency, of accuracy, of ease, just it feeling super comfortable. And that's what this class is about on Tuesdays now, is Ed's going to help you through the rhythms and just help you continually improve. So it should be one of those staple classes. There you go. How do you like that? Did I sell it?
I love it.
Is everyone going to Ed's new rhythm class on Tuesdays? Ooh, great response from the viewing public.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, Carl.
No.
Oh, May went. Thank you, May.
Glad to hear it, May. You get extra brownie points and a gold star. They made me dance. Yeah, cool. What is dance but rhythm?
Sheila says Tuesday is band practice night.
You should get on the horn about that. Change band practice night.
That always goes great.
Yeah. Okay. I've still lost Slido, but it's coming back. What's our next question?
The next question is, can Andrew talk about his creative process for the Dream Valley medley and tune selection? Also, what makes a good band medley musically? Wait a minute. Snuck 2 questions into here.
2 questions in. Two big questions.
So besides the material, I don't know if John is here. Is John here? I don't see John.
Don't think.
Aside from what has been covered on the Pipes Drums interview that Stuart and Allie and Steven did, and then the one I did on the Big Rab show about the medley. Are there any further questions? Would be my follow-up. If there are.
Yeah. Put in the specific questions. And then we also talked about it the first week you got back to the Friday strike-in after the Worlds, which was like September 3rd or whatever that Friday is. It was the 5th, I think. We did it in this very show. You talked about it briefly as well.
And then the follow-up question is, what makes a good band medley musically? That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
So what's the answer?
A cohesive narrative from the beginning to the end.
Interesting. It's an interesting idea. What makes a good movie? What makes a good movie?
Entertaining, thought-provoking.
Thought-provoking, sexy.
Yeah. Emotional. Like it could be any of these things.
Yeah, Janet, a good hook. I like it.
Yeah.
Budget often helps. Budget seems silly, but like it definitely helps Inverary that our band is populated by a really large portion of the world's absolute best musicians. That helps.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps. If you didn't have a high budget, can you still make a good movie? Yes.
Totally.
Yes, but your approach has to be minimal, and you have to figure out what you can cut while still keeping the essence, right?
Or work outside the box.
Right.
Have a different way of doing those multi-million-dollar effects. You can't, but
I love that.
there's another way to do it.
It's actually a kind of cool analogy, right? So the thing is, what Inverary did in that medley, it was crazy. I still can't believe we pulled it off. It sounds simple, but that medley is crazy. And yeah, we have multi-million-dollar special effects in that medley, to use the analogy. But like most bands are like a little tiny indie movie with no budget, right? Budget in this case being an analogy for like super awesome musicians.
Why aren't we using actors as the analogy for this?
I don't know. But my point is, so what are you going to do? I think this question is probably, what are you going to do in your grade 5 band or your grade 4 band or your grade 3 band to have a good medley? Any thoughts?
Yeah.
It's a good discussion. Any thoughts?
Bring in Gerard Butler. Yeah.
You could bring in someone to help. Yeah. Blow your whole budget on Gerard Butler. Yeah.
You can work creatively using the talents that you have on hand to the best of their ability, which I feel like not all leaders take advantage of.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can feel maybe threatened by other people's ideas. Some people's ideas are not good. But yeah, use the resources at hand first to see what you can produce.
Yeah, a great medley. It's going to be using the tools that you have in your toolbox to make a really nice piece of art. Like it reminds me of little kids doing art as well. Like when little kids come home from art class, they have a thing, and compared to the art that you see at like MoMA or something, it's not as good. But for kids, like sometimes it's really awesome. Like Hannah's particularly really good at that kind of thing. Yeah. So what are you going to do? What makes a good band medley musically? And then there's lots of things that Carl said. You could have a good narrative. You could just play some classic tunes really well.
Simple classic tunes really well. Good choice.
Yeah, you could really think about your ensemble and do interesting things. You could take a couple of risks, right? And you don't have to, and it doesn't have to be, a lot of people take risks on the difficulty end of the spectrum. So I'm going to play a really difficult tune in grade 4. And that is an interesting strategy, especially if you can pull it off. But you could also take a risk with your harmonies. You could take a risk with your ensemble, right? And so on. And then in a band like Inverary, the creative process is going to be really similar to that. So what kind of tools do we have in our toolbox? What interesting ideas are floating around? What would we like to do? Like, for example, one of the big ideas with the Dream Valley medley was John McClellan of Dunoon. It was his 150th birthday. And John McClellan of Dunoon is, I think, the greatest composer in bagpipe history. Not everyone would agree with me on that, but I think he's the greatest. But he's absolutely like one of the great titans of the history of bagpipes. And he's from Argyll, and Inverary's from Argyll. And so, okay, let's do a medley with some John McClellan tunes. Originally, the idea was to populate the medley entirely of his music. And that we started with that idea, but eventually it got chucked because we didn't quite have what we felt we needed, and et cetera, et cetera. But what makes a good band medley musically? That's it. That's the big question.
And then it's
good luck
reading a Rotten Tomatoes review to further this analogy. Some people love it and give you 5 tomatoes. I don't know how many. Anyway, and other people hate it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you've got an amazing blockbuster video, but it comes out at the same time as something that just happened to be slightly better or more attractive, and it's a flop. Not because it wasn't good, but it was compared against something that was slightly better.
That usually only happens in grade 1, though.
Right.
In the other grades, you just got to play something good.
Yeah.
What are the elements? Right. The other thing is like, what audience do you want? What audience are you trying to impress? And I don't know. I did a podcast with Jim on this. I think that there are 3 audiences that you have to impress when you compete in a pipe band. Anyone know what I'm talking about? The 3 audiences are, there's the judges. That's audience number 1. Audience number 2 is the general audience, right? So just the people that'll be listening to it. And then the third audience is probably the most important audience. Does anyone know the third audience? Any takers? Other bands, Carol? Nope.
Nope. The general audience.
Not the way I think of it anyway. Other pipers? Nope. Yeah, exactly. May points. Yeah, the third audience is yourself or the people in the band.
Yeah.
So if all you're doing is creating your medley to impress the judges, that's fine. There's no law against that. Or maybe you don't care about the judges and you just want to impress the general public. That's an option too. And then maybe you only care about your own enjoyment, and that's an option too. But for me, it's a Venn diagram of the 3. What makes a good band medley musically? In my opinion, it's a medley that impresses the judges, that the general audience loves, and that, probably most importantly, like the biggest slice of the Venn diagram, is how much do I enjoy doing it? Because your enjoyment of doing it is really going to shine through on the field.
Yeah. And then if you like doing it, you do it more in preparation and you're more excited about it. And so everything goes better.
Yep, exactly. But also, if all you care about is your own enjoyment, right? Your ego tends to get really attached to it. And then when you receive criticism on it, it's really hard to hone it and cut things from it and change it. So you do have to maintain the balance. So if the judges come back with feedback like way too much harmony, didn't understand it, like a lot of times you love those harmonies. You wrote those harmonies. You love those things. But if the judges say, especially judges that you really know and respect and you know that they're smart people, if they say there's too much harmony there, you got to take that really seriously. And the same with the general audience, right?
Yeah. Good question.
I like it. It's fun to think about. Next question. Remember, by the way, only 5 votes? What the heck? What the heck? All right. Remember during COVID, bands did YouTube videos of everyone in a band stitched together, playing tunes together. Can we do a Dojo member version of that?
There actually already has been one. Yeah, Andy did one 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. So the answer to that question is, I do remember it.
Yeah.
And the problem is there might be apps that help you do this now. So
I think so.
But originally it's very hard to do. Really hard. Because really what you need to do is you need to stitch all the audio together first. And then you would overlay the video layers after that. And to put 64 videos into one video is a huge and difficult process, in my experience.
Yeah. It needs a lot of computing power also to like make changes and edits, and
what you would
it's possible, but maybe there's an app now that you could just upload all the videos and
I think maybe there is. I don't know. But yes, I do remember that, and that would be really cool to do that. Please follow up with a technological solution to making that
Yeah.
cost benefit. Like with space travel, right? It's all about dollars per kilogram into orbit.
Orbit. Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And then with bagpipe stuff, it's the same. It's the cost of doing it compared to the benefit that you get out of it. Like, it would be awesome to do that video, but not if it takes 36 hours of my time or Carl's time, or both. Unfortunately, it's very sad.
Yeah.
Well, like Lincoln, what he does in those videos, like the video editing is almost as impressive as the music on Lincoln Hilton's videos.
I love it. Yeah. I think there's a chance he's using Wishcraft, not actually
Yeah.
software.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
Lincoln's
Very
videos
cool.
are really cool, man. Underrated when a tune is pentatonic, then cracks out one unexpected note, not in the pentatonic world. Like the high G's in Mary McLeod or low G's in The Children.
For those who got lost on that, those are two Piobaireachds.
Those are two Piobaireachds. This person is saying it's underrated. This is more of a statement than a question. It's underrated when a tune is pentatonic. So what does it mean when a tune is pentatonic?
It has 5 of something, because I remember what a pentagon is.
And what are the 5 things that it has? Drones?
5 notes. 5 notes.
5 notes, yeah. So a pentatonic scale or a tune that's in a pentatonic scale is just using a 5-note scale. How many notes does our current scale have? Tony says 9. Is that true? From a music theory standpoint, is that true? Yeah, we use 7-note scales. Yeah, 7. And then the high A and the high G are repeated notes in the actual scale. So a pentatonic scale has 5, aka boring. And modern scales have 7. No, but pentatonic scales can be cool. And yes, exactly. I like the observation that when we do have a tune, like Mary McLeod goes, see if I can do this a little bit. Like the iconic bit in Mary McLeod goes like this.
No, you turned off your original sound.
No, I didn't.
We didn't hear anything there.
Original sound on. Oh, okay. So this only has 5 notes in the entire melody. Anyone spotted the notes? A, C, E, F. And then it's going to have a B in it eventually. So the scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody got me? But then famously in the 3rd line, it sneaks that little high G in there. And this person is saying that moment is underrated. It's like a beautiful little note that sneaks in there. That's interesting.
Don't think it's underrated in the sense that that's why people like that tune. That's why that tune came to thought.
No. It's a 13-minute tune, all for just to hear the high G a couple times. Yeah. Music is often like that, though. It's like you're waiting for that amazing moment. And it is. It's cool. I have a lot of thoughts on this. Number one is, in the case of Mary McLeod and other tunes, the pentatonic scale is the musical fundamental rule that you're following. But then to break the rule every so often is amazing. It's symbolic. It's metaphysical, man. It's awesome. It's cool. And that's kind of what music is all about, right? Grace notes should always be as short as infinitely possible, right? Yes. However, sometimes a longer grace note that you're doing on purpose for a specific musical effect that's the money. That's what you got to do. So we're learning these fundamentals, but then breaking the rules or mutating the rules or accidentally screwing up the rules that's the $1 million thing. It's how it all works. It's how the world turns. Meanwhile, pentatonic scales, boring. I'd rather think about the chord progressions than the scales that we use. Personally, that's like I favor the chord progression a little more. Like, for example, even though we're only using the 5 notes, the implied chords, by the way, this is closely related to our snowmen discussion over the last few weeks. The implied chords are still there underneath Mary McLeod, and that's really what makes it interesting. But there you go. It's underrated. I'm going to rephrase this person's statement. It's underrated, or it's an extremely good idea to establish a simple set. By the way, you could also use this for your medley construction, right? It's underrated when people keep it super, super simple and then do a simple thing to change it. Super underrated. Here's an example. Like, I think playing Lock Inside in 4/4 time, well, and Dream Valley and Lock Inside at the end of the medley in 4/4 time instead of 3/4 time. That's so simple, but it's cool. Also playing Lock Inside in B minor, super simple but cool. She's got to get out the door here. She's already standing up. She needs to get out of here. So anyway, good point, Anonymous. It is underrated. And let's leave the rest for next week.
Yeah, very good, folks. Love it. Thanks for tuning in.
It's been good. It's been a good session.